Now, Eyewitness News NightBEAT.
Good evening. We're learning much more about what happened before a police chase that went through 3 counties and 4 towns across Connecticut.
State police finally catching up to the 2 suspects after an armed robbery in an East Hampton motel. The chase ending hours later with a cornfield capture in Columbia. And that's where we find NightBEAT reporter Susan Raff with all the details. Susan.
Denise, 2 men led police on a 10-mile chase before being caught. One of the men surrendered after firing at police. The other man was apprehended in the cornfield behind me. Now, we're told this all started with a drug deal gone bad.
Any idea why this happened? Is this a drug deal or anything like that? Or, I mean...
It was a drug deal, yes it was. But they got away with it all.
Angel Barricchio says 2 men she knows from Middletown came to her apartment today to sell marijuana to a friend. When the friend didn't want to buy what was being sold, one of the men pulled out a gun and stole more than $1,000 from her friend. Then the 2 men took off.
I shouldn't have let them in my house. I regret it now.
The robbery occurred with a gun, and they fled from the scene, and East Hampton officers later began pursuing the suspect's car on Route 16, and the pursuit went through several towns.
The chase went on for several miles, and at one point it almost ran over a man on a motorcycle.
I thought it was just a speeder because he passed us on a corner, forcing me over the side, and I heard cruisers behind it. So I pulled over even more.
We're told the suspects fired several shots at police before driving their car off the road. The car chase ended here in a cornfield right off Route 66 in Columbia. The 2 suspects drove their Honda Civic about 50 yards into the cornfield with 2 police cars right behind them. State police planes searched the area, along with SWAT teams and police dogs. One of the suspects fired several shots at police and then tried to hide in a nearby farmhouse, but finally surrendered. 6 hours later, the second suspect was found in the middle of the cornfield. Neighbors at the White House Motel, where it all began, are glad no one was hurt, but realized this was a dangerous situation.
It used to be quite a quiet place around here, you know. Now it isn't. There's a lot of things happen here sometimes, you know, and it's not good.
Now, the suspects, 20-year-old Tori Woodbury and 23-year-old Donzie Taylor, both from Woodbury, both from Middletown, that is, are actually being held tonight on $250,000 cash bond, and we are told they are scheduled to be arraigned first thing tomorrow morning. Again, we're told this all started with a drug deal this morning. Denise, back to you.
Susan Raff live in Columbia.
In Madison tonight, the hunt is on for a killer who struck in the same home that was the scene of a violent murder-suicide a year ago. 20-year-old Ryan Lind was found beaten to death in his own garage over the weekend. Lind was in the news a year ago when he found his parents dead, victims of a murder-suicide. Lind's body was found just a few feet from where he found his father's body last year.
Obviously, the house has got something strange about it because it was almost a year to the day that there was the murder-suicide.
Despite the eeriness of it all, at this point, police don't think the 2 incidents are related. There's also no word on a motive or weapon. If you have any information, you are urged to call Madison Police.
Tonight we learn the 11-year-old girl who was hit by a sport utility vehicle on Friday after getting off a bus from camp has died. Witnesses say Carol Cortez of Hamilton Street in Hartford was dragged several dozen feet under the wheels when the driver tried to speed away. We're still waiting for word on possible charges against the driver.
Police in Bridgeport have put 1 man behind bars in connection with a wild weekend shootout at Seaside Park. 22-year-old Anthony Davis may have shot himself in the stomach. Police have not yet charged him in the shooting. 8 people were shot, including a 3-year-old boy. Police say the incident may be gang-related.
There's been a guilty plea in the kidnapping 4 months ago of a Bristol boy from a daycare center. 22-year-old Zhen Xing Zhong admitted taking 4-year-old Alan Chan to a hotel room in Westchester County, New York, and tying his wrists to a bed. Zhong also admits he made ransom calls to the boy's family 4 months ago. That's how the FBI was able to find him. He now faces life in prison and a $250,000 fine.
The man convicted in what's become arguably Connecticut's most gruesome mass murder will never go free. That word coming from the State Parole Board today, denying Gary Schrager parole for the 4th time and stopping him from ever trying again. Schrager killed 6 people at New Britain's Donna Bakery more than 20 years ago.
Bike riders and rollerbladers, your days of fun at some of the scenic reservoirs in the capital region may be numbered. Lawmakers are talking about putting the brakes on some of your favorite activities. NightBEAT reporter Donna Savarese is live in West Hartford with more. Donna.
Denise, I am at the water treatment plant here in West Hartford, a popular recreational site. As with many of life's simple pleasures, it appears an activity as simple as bike riding now isn't without a hitch. The problem is with the Metropolitan District Commission and potential lawsuits that could put the brakes on fun. Whether they're just getting the hang of it or seriously into it, recreational bicycling is big in many communities, including here in West Hartford, where the reservoirs allow enthusiasts to fill their need for speed.
Well, I mean, this is really the best area to ride around here. It's nice because it's so quick. You come after work, and it's very easy to get to.
But many of the reservoirs and here at the water treatment plant wonder if their days of two-wheeling may be coming to a screeching halt, even though most of the sites have clearly marked bike paths. A state Supreme Court decision last year took away municipalities' immunity from lawsuits by those who were injured. Betsy Mowell was rollerblading today when she hit a pine cone.
But I don't think it's a good idea to ban rollerblading and biking because there's not very many spots that you can do it that are in, a safe, pretty area.
And I come here, and if I fall off my bike, it's my fault. It shouldn't be theirs.
For Kim McQueen and her son Tommy, biking is a family affair that provides exercise and a lot of smiles. She wonders if, along with these signs, there could be others posted.
It's sort of like no trespassing, trespass at your own risk. You come here and you use the property at your own risk, and we disclaim any sort of legal responsibility if you should get hurt.
Hartford City Council member Stephen Park agrees with the bicyclists and rollerbladers. He helped to pass a resolution to recommend the MDC work with them.
All this does is maybe give further encouragement for them to continue to do that, and we're hoping that maybe some of the other councils and the other membership towns will also do the same.
Now, the MDC proposal would limit bike riding and rollerblading as well as rock climbing and skateboarding. But after tonight's City Council meeting, it appears those activities have the green light, at least for now. Back to you, folks.
All right, Donna Savarese on the NightBEAT in West Hartford.
Well, biking and blading are best when the weather cooperates. And will the week bring us some more sunshine like we had today?
Well, here's Hilton with a first look at Connecticut's most accurate forecast. Hilton.
All right, Denise and Dennis, we had some severe thunderstorms, marginally severe, roll through northern New England today, but nothing compared to the kind of weather they had move through the Rocky Mountain West again this afternoon. Take a look at Denver. People around Denver cleaning up after a storm that brought heavy hail this afternoon. In fact, the overwhelming amount of rain is turning streets into fast-moving storms. And look at how that hail drifted. And watch the cars go through that water. Drainage system's not keeping up, neither can drivers for that matter. And to the south, trouble in a canyon in northwestern Arizona. Hundreds of vacationers and residents alike had to be evacuated, many by helicopter, when 3 to 4 inches of rain fell in just 2.5 hours yesterday. And it was a vacation that few would ever forget.
It was crazy. It was like a monsoon down there. It was a total disaster. It was quite tumultuous. We're glad to be gone. Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for helping us, everybody.
And there was only one minor injury associated with all of that turmoil. Locally, a very quiet night. We have a few widely scattered showers and isolated thunder showers in southern New England. Look for skies to partially clear after this weak line gets through tonight. Tomorrow, turning drier when you wake up near 70 degrees, less humid by midday, highs topping out in the low 80s, and by evening, an increase in clouds, temperatures in the 70s. And what's behind that increase in clouds? Well, a change in the weather you'll want to hear about. Stay tuned. We'll have our complete 5-day tuner coming up in just a few minutes. Dennis, Denise.
All right, sir. Thank you. In California, a pipe bomb bundled in a package exploded, killing the man who found it right in front of his apartment. Authorities still want to know whether the package was addressed to or intended for the victim. The man found the package late last night and opened it with 2 friends looking on. Neither of them were hurt. There was also little damage to the apartment.
Authorities are now using a crane to search a fire-gutted YMCA in New Jersey. One person is still missing in the fire that destroyed the 100-year-old landmark. Rescuers are picking through the rubble where 4 floors collapsed on top of each other. Investigators tonight are looking into a report that a disgruntled resident may be to blame.
And UPS officials say they're looking into the cause of a deadly accident involving one of its trucks. The rig tumbled over 25 feet off of an interstate on-ramp in Nashville, Tennessee, killing the manager who was driving due to the Teamsters strike. And glass scattered and packages flew across the highway, closing part of it for several hours. Also today, as the picketing continued, Labor Secretary Alexis Herman met separately with both sides, but her efforts to end the 8-day strike are so far unsuccessful.
Look what stopped traffic in Los Angeles today. A single-engine Cessna plowed into a highway ramp. The plane landed next to a concrete lane barrier parallel to the traffic, as you see there, and spilled 40 gallons of fuel. Rescue crews sprayed foam to prevent a fire. The pilot suffered just minor injuries in this. No word yet on the cause of the crash.
Last week's crash of a Korean Air 747 now has the federal government ordering immediate testing on airports' low-altitude warning systems. That system was reportedly not working on Guam when Flight 801 crashed. Investigators say an error had apparently been inserted into the system's software during an overhaul. There are about 200 of the low-altitude warning systems at U.S. airports.
Sentencing today after some tense hours at Miami International Airport last year. The Palestinian who used scissors and a fake bomb to hijack a plane will spend 20 years behind bars. He could have gotten life. He was convicted of hijacking an Iberia Airlines jumbo jet to Florida from its Spain to Havana route. No one was injured.
Sportscaster Marv Albert may be in deeper trouble tonight. DNA evidence now links him to a bite mark and semen stains on the woman who accused him of throwing her onto her hotel bed, biting her, and forcing her to perform oral sex. In fact, there's reportedly only a 1 in 2.6 billion chance the samples could have come from someone other than Albert. Albert maintains his innocence in a statement. The trial is set for next month.
A leader in a class action lawsuit against the tobacco industry takes the stand. This is the flight attendant's fight, and you'll hear what she has to say.
Also in the Night Beat tonight, take a good look at this robbery in progress. That's what one woman did, and you're going to see how it led to her own son's arrest.
It wasn't supposed to be. A crane crumbles under some construction. We'll have the story.
And someone who's supposed to say roof gets a good revving up and then a rescue. We'll show you what we mean. Stay with Denise and me. The Night Beat is coming right back after these messages.
Channel 3 Eyewitness News. This is Connecticut's news station.